Greetings YouTube, Fuzzfinger back here with you today for our Final Fantasy IX Perfect game playthrough. So just to clarify, because there has been some confusion in the comments, yes, we're collecting Excalibur II, but for everyone saying, oh, that's really easy on PS4 because you've got all these cheats and that to use. Well, the only cheat we're going to be using, if you even want to call it that really, it's just an easy option you can click on and off, is the safe travel option. And that's only so we don't have to keep reloading our save game to try and get no encounters. This saves a bit of frustration. And yes, we are getting Excalibur II, but we're not only getting Excalibur II, we're trying to get a perfect save file, which means we're getting the sword, but we're also doing every other bit of content as well, which means everything missable up to that point we'll get, and then everything else we'll do after we've looted that sword. So getting everything onto one single save, we're not just getting the sword. So it should be a fun challenge, and hopefully you guys are enjoying this as well. If you're following along with the GameFaqs walkthrough, which I've linked in the description, then the section we're going through today is Disc 1-05. Let's get started. So this section, D1-05, is supposed to take about 8 minutes, and that's what it is going to take once you've got it down. But there are a few fiddly bits which you're going to see as we go through here. So you are going to have to practice and rely a little bit on our RNG and restart the game a few times in order to get the correct time here. But it shouldn't be too much of a big deal. It probably took me about 45 minutes to get this episode down to the point where I've got it now, where I'm quite happy with it, with this section. So you want to start by heading into this area here. You can get random encounters on that bit, although you don't want to get them. So whether you just restart a few times until you don't get any like I did, or whether you use the no encounter option, is entirely up to you, but make sure you don't see any random fights. So the trick to this fight is first of all getting the phase 2 battle to start, and you can either whittle down its HP to do that, or the easiest and most effective way in terms of time is to simply get Zidane to attack himself. As soon as Zidane falls, then phase 2 begins, and that's when Blanc comes into the battle. And phase 2 is just about getting Vivi to cast fire, Steiner to do his fire special attack, and Blanc to attack normally. Now the trick with this encounter, you want to restart it until you get it perfect, is getting Zidane to actually attack himself before the boss casts the blind ability Pollen. If the boss gets Pollen off on Zidane, then he's probably not going to be able to kill himself because his attacks are going to miss. So it is a little bit reliant on RNG. You can start this encounter with practically an empty ATB bar, in which case the boss is always going to get his attack in. Or you can start with basically a full ATB bar. So you might just have to restart a few times to get that down perfectly. Okay then, so next I want to talk a little bit about experience. I haven't spoke a whole lot about this yet, but because we're going for a perfect playthrough, we really want to maximise our stat gain, which means for the vast majority of the initial experience of playing through Final Fantasy IX, we do not want to gain any experience, or we want to minimise the amount of experience that we do gain, because we need to maximise our stats later on through the way we equip specific pieces of gear and items. So what that means for now is that we want to avoid getting XP. So for this next encounter, where we have to fight against those spiders you just saw, we only want to fight 2 spiders at most. Anything more than that is going to bump our characters up to level 2, and we do not want that. So this is how it's going to work, and sadly it is completely random. You get attacked by these spiders here, and you can get anywhere between 2 and 4 spiders in the battle. You only want 2. Anything more than that, you need to restart. Just go back to the load screen, so to the main menu screen, and select continue. And also you don't want to let Blanc die. This was actually about 10 minutes into trying this, and I did get 2 spiders previously, but then Blanc died, which is why I've ended up casting a potion here, which was completely pointless. But I couldn't be bothered to restart at this point. So all you need to do on this encounter is wait for Vivi's ATB bar to fill up and get him to cast fire in an AoE effect. That will one-shot both of these spiders, and because there's only 2 of them, you won't reduce the damage down to the point where it doesn't kill them, and you won't level up your characters. Doesn't matter about Zidane being dead, so long as you have all 3 characters alive at that point. And by the way, if you get into a situation where only Blanc survives, and he takes all the XP, and you know that he isn't a permanent member of the party, don't think that you're okay with that. You're not. another party member will join later who's actually based on Blank's levels. So you don't want him to level, or they're going to be leveled when they join the party. Okay, so trust me, you need all 3 members alive, really. Go ahead and skip the movie here, and then it's just a case of getting through these obligatory cutscenes and dialogue sections for a few minutes. Something I didn't get time to mention as well, but hopefully you saw before we fought those spiders, is that I did just go to the equip screen and removed all of Blank's gear, so we can put that to use later, but also replace his fairly decent iron sword with the rubbish broadsword that we stole from a previous encounter. If you don't have the broadsword, if you didn't steal it, then obviously you can't swap his equipment around in that sense. Don't worry about it, but if you can, then it's a bonus to get that iron sword. So the Moogle here is about to give us a forced ATE, which is fine. But all we need to do when we get the option is to select nothing. We don't want to watch any of the tutorials or anything, because obviously that's going to take time. So just choose nothing, and that'll end this ATE. And it's at this point in the game we get the Moogle flute, which will allow us to call Moogles out on the world map so that we can save. Okay, so welcome to the world map, and to the world of 15 frames per second, which I'm sure not many of us are used to. So again, we need to get from our spawn location to the ice cavern here with 0 random enemy encounters. You can do it without using the no encounter option, but you probably have to restart a few times relying on the RNG. So I'm just personally happy to use this icon, so this option, since it just saves that little bit of frustration. Enter the ice cavern, and then there's 2 cutscenes you need to just spam through. One at the very entrance here as we're about to go in, and then one in the first area. Once this second cutscene is finished, we're literally just going to head back out south and to the world map and hit the square button in order to save our game and bring us to the end of D1-05, and then we can sit down and just relax a little bit. Alright then, so that's that section completed. And I'm at the 51:45 second mark, so that's what you really want to be about. And we've got 12,013 gil, which is the fixed amount you should have if you followed everything along perfectly by this point. And we're going to pick up next time by going through the ice cavern cave. So hopefully this little walkthrough has been helpful to you. And let me know in the comment section if you two are trying to go for a perfect save game file, which includes doing all the content in the game, including collecting the Excalibur II weapon within the 12-hour time limit. So thanks for stopping by today, folks, and I'll see you soon for more Final Fantasy IX here on the PS4. Goodbye.